Man, what's going on? We back for another quick one. I had to go to the the gas station, get some goddamn diesel. I've been lazy, not calling these people up to fill up my my gas, my what do you call it? The tanks for my house. Been just BSing with that. I finally called I need some fuel. We can't be there for like 3-4 days. It's supposed to be there tomorrow. I should be fine, but I ain't gonna take no chance. So I'm just have to go grab a little something, throw it up in there just to make sure we definitely good until they can get here tomorrow. But anyway, let's get onto this Floyd Mayweather-ish, man. Floyd Mayweather comes out and he says that when it comes to these young fighters, especially when it comes to, I guess, like, you know, Earl Spence, he comes to Terrence Crawford, they need to stop chasing the old dogs, and they need to start focusing on building their own careers and building their own legacies by fighting each other. He said that they're over here so focused on trying to fight Manny Pacquiao, maneuver themselves to fight Manny Pacquiao. He said what they should be doing is fighting each other, and if that fight happens to come around, then cool, then you take that particular fight, and that's fine, and do it that way. But this whole full focus on being on just him, it's not a good look. You know what I mean? And people might hate what he's saying, but he's walked that walk before. He's not just talking, he's walked that walk before. When he came in, he wanted all the big names. He wanted Casamayor, he wanted Freitas, you know, he wanted Prince Nasrid, he wanted Shane Mosley when Shane Mosley was a star on top. He wanted Oscar De La Hoya. For over a decade he chased after Oscar De La Hoya. These guys didn't want to give him an opportunity. They didn't want to fight him. But he didn't stagnate his career because of it. You know, Casazu didn't want to fight him. He didn't just kind of sit there and like, all right, let me fight the softest opposition I can fight, and then try to eventually maneuver my way into a position to fight these guys. He said, no, I'm going to pave my own way, and I'm going to build my own foundation, and he did that. You know, he fought the likes of a Manfredi when people thought that he wasn't even ready for a Manfredi. He fought a Janir Hernandez when people thought that he was an underdog in that fight. They thought it was way too early for him to do that fight. He took on the likes of a Diego Corrales. He took on the likes of a Castillo. You know, he kept on moving up in weight, until he got, you know, fought a Turagati. You know, when that, you know, that fight came, you know, available to him. I think on that particular fight, he was outweighed by like 20 pounds on fight night. He moved up to 147 pounds. He took on Chop Corley at 140. Moved up to 140, you know, took on Endau. You know what I'm saying? Took on Bay. He took on all these tough fights, the quote, low reward, high risk fights. He then moved up to 147 and takes on the top two guys at the 147 pounds. Zab Judah was undisputed at 147 pounds. I think he's the last welterweight to be undisputed. He lost to Baldomir, but Baldomir couldn't pay the sanctioning fees, I guess, to get all the belts. You know, but so he moves up and he fights both of them. He fights both Baldomir and he fights Zab Judah. You know what I mean? Quote, high risk, low reward fights. And then after that, boom, Oscar De La Hoya fight pops up. Now all of a sudden Oscar De La Hoya wants to fight him. But Oscar De La Hoya wants him to jump all the way up to 154 pounds, and he want to use heavyweight gloves. Fine. He moved up to 154, did his thing. You know, high pay-per-view fight. Money May was born, and then things just started falling into place. Ricky Hatton coming off a big win, wanted to fight him. Shane Mosley coming off this biggest win ever, then wants to fight him. You know what I mean? Cotto coming off avenging his loss, wants to fight him. You know what I mean? They just started to work out for him like that. Shane Mosley fighting me. I think I already said Shane Mosley, but like him. You know, Ortiz has a big, huge win against Berto that fights him. Maidana has a big, huge fight against Adrian Broner and wins and fights him. Things start to fall into place with him. You know what I mean? Canelo Alvarez has his win against Austin Trout, and everybody, for whatever reason, thought that he was going to be the one to beat him. And he fought him, and this guy fought at his walk-around weight at 147 pounds and fought even at above that at 154 pounds, weighing in at 150 pounds on fight night. Weighing in at 154, dude waking up and having large meals in the morning, knowing that he's going to weigh in later on because he's still going to be substantially, you know, lower in weight. You know, he took some hard risks. You know, people always talk about, oh, he's fighting soft this, soft that. Cool, go do that. You know what I'm saying? If Terrence Crawford right now fought Canelo Alvarez, even at 168 pounds, he would have a less weight disadvantage than Floyd Mayweather did when he fought against Canelo Alvarez. Go do it. See how that pans out. It ain't too easy. If Floyd Mayweather could fight, you know, guys at 154 pounds, you know, Terrence Crawford or Earl Spence can do the same thing. They can go to 154 and fight guys over there. There's no reason for, you know, Crawford not to fight a Rosario at 54 pounds. There's no reason for Errol Spence not to fight at 160 pounds. If y'all want to, you know, trying to trash Floyd Mayweather, that's basic. Not to mention, that's still not even these guys fighting at their walk-around weights. Imagine Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, both of them fighting at 160 pounds, 175 pounds. At weights where they're going to be outweighed by like 10, 15, 20 pounds. How that'll work out. You know, so it's like, put respect on that man's name for the things that he's done. It wasn't easy. And pretty much there's no one out there that can really do it. You know? And I think he is right to a certain point. I think they should still be, you know, going after Manny Pacquiao. You know, just like he still was going after all these other guys. He was still going after De La Hoya. He was still going after Mosley. He was still calling them out consistently. But he was still building his foundation at the same time. And I think that's what these young guys also should be doing if they want to be in the same caliber as him. Unless if there's one thing trying to chase that one big fight, you know what I mean? Then building a foundation where you're not even going to fight for that one fight for that amount of money. You know what I mean? It's a whole different thing. That's why when it comes to people like Deontay Wilder, people are like, oh, he's the anti-Floyd. I'm like, no, that is Floyd Mayweather. Because he's doing what Floyd Mayweather did. You know, when the big money man wouldn't fight him, what did he do? He went and fought the tough, hard fights that people thought he would lose. People thought he would lose against Ortiz. He fought against Ortiz. Basically and Ortiz is one of his kryptonites. You know what I'm saying? He took on a Tyson Fury, another style that's one of his kryptonites. I've said it even before the fights, and I said it after the fights. The only two people that I see that can beat Deontay Wilder is just those two. It's Ortiz and Tyson Fury. Those are the only two I see beating him. Those are the two that have the styles and the capabilities to beat him. I don't see anybody else really out there giving him a problem. I see him pretty much stopping everybody else. Everybody else. Excluding nobody. You know, but he took on those hard tasks and got his biggest paydays, and he didn't need he didn't need Anthony Joshua anymore to make those big purses because of the foundation that he built. You know, he came off a major fight with Ortiz, came off a huge fight against Tyson Fury, and their rematch, you know what I'm saying, the third fight they're gonna have, it's gonna be freaking epic. It's gonna be his, you know what I'm saying, his moment where, you know what I'm saying, his redemption moment. He's going to have that where he's going to make a load of money again. And guess what? It's not going to lead Anthony Joshua again. But if he wins that, it puts him to a space where now he can make even other big, large money fights. And he doesn't even need that man to do it. And these guys should be building that same type of foundation. I think Errol Spence was doing it in a way. Like he fought Mikey Garcia. Then after fighting Mikey Garcia, he went and took on a Sean Porter. You know what I mean? And he was looking at taking on a Danny Garcia next after that. So he's fighting his contemporaries while, you know, still doing this. You know what I mean? But Terence Crawford, you know what I'm saying, seems to not be able to want to do the same thing. Terence Crawford is like, he's according to him, he's not going to fight, you know, what's his name's in any of Errol Spence's quote leftovers. So imagine if Errol Spence had that same mentality. We would never got the Sean Porter fight because that's Keith Thurman's leftovers. We never would have got the Danny Garcia fights. That's Keith Thurman and Sean Porter's leftovers. But he was still going to fight Danny Garcia because those are big fights and he understands that. And it does put him into a space where he's fighting his contemporaries and he's building that further building that foundation. 300,000 plus pay-per-views versus Mikey. 300,000 plus pay-per-view versus Sean Porter. And that Danny fight would have also been 300,000 plus. Because people also remember the action-packed fight that he just had against top-tier competition. You know what I mean? So, and I like the fact that I heard he keeps saying after that, yo, I want Manny Pacquiao. If I can't get Manny Pacquiao, I want Terence Crawford. That's how he's talking. You know what I mean? So I love the fact that, you know, that he's talking and he's walking that walk. He's going to get another big, huge fight. Then after that, he was going to do his thing. And he did tell them also, from where the back and forth that I'm hearing, I think Terence Crawford, they know what the numbers are. They know what the Errol Spence side is willing to do. You know what I'm saying? And Errol Spencer, and when they're going back and forth arguing Twitter, he said, your promoter knows what needs to happen in order for us to do the fight. So you go to your promoter and you tell him to agree to that and we can fight. So there's numbers that have been put on the table. And even Bomac said, oh, yeah, they've been in offers, but they're only worrying about this. Is okay, so some kind of freaking offers were made. But with Terence Crawford talking about, you know, not fighting these guys and giving the reasons for not fighting these guys, it's putting them into a situation, putting himself, I believe, into a situation where it's going to be hard for him to build himself to the point where he gets that 50-50 that he claims that he wants so bad, and it's gonna be make it very difficult for him to build that particular foundation that's gonna put him to a space where he can have, let's say, be an equal field with Earl Spence and have a big, huge fight with Earl Spence. And then the thing with that is that, because if you do that, then you're in a position where now Manny Pacquiao's looking at what can I have my, what's my biggest fights. You guys have a huge fight where you do 1 million+ pay-per-view. Manny Pacquiao's gonna be like, oh hell yeah, give me the winner of that one. Give me the winner of that one. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna be a win or lose. I'm making 50 million+ for that. I'm making 100 million for that fight. Let's do that. But the problem's gonna be, short. I believe Earl Spence is moving in a way where he's building a foundation where he's going to be able to fight a Manny Pacquiao probably next year, because it's going to be worth it for Manny Pacquiao if he sees his man do 3 fights in a row where he's doing hundreds and thousands of pay-per-view. And Sean Porter's and Terence Crawford is the same level of risk, but that dude's going to be like, nah, I'm not going to mess with you because you ain't doing ish when it comes to numbers. You know what I mean? But what I'm hoping, if he doesn't get the Manny Pacquiao fight after his Danny Garcia fight, or if he doesn't get Manny Pacquiao next, I hope he does do something with Terence Crawford, them figure out some way of making that particular fight happen, because then they can have a big, huge, monstrous fight. They can build the foundation. Whoever wins, the cream that rises to the top, will probably end up getting that big Manny Pacquiao fight. And you basically, in that way, you'll be moving in a way that Floyd Mayweather is saying that they actually should be moving, and he should know, because that was his blueprint. That's how he moved, and those are the things that he did to get into the space that he's in right now. So hopefully they listen. You know what I mean? But the one part I will disagree with him, they absolutely should still continue to call out Manny Pacquiao, especially with him having a belt, because that part, Floyd Mayweather did do that part. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.